at the NYC Indian. Today we're going to be reviewing Love After Lockup. It was the season finale last night and it was pretty good. This was a good season overall. This is going to be brought to you from an urban Native American perspective, a mixed perspective, and a secular perspective. If you guys enjoyed the video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe, share it with your friends, all that good stuff. Now let's dive right on in, guys. Okay, so did you guys watch it? It was really good. It was really good. So we start off with Justine and Michael, and they've kind of made up or whatever because they talk about the dinner with her mother, and of course he's still feeling apprehensive about telling his side of the family because he's got some babies out there, right? But he does seem to be present, at least. I mean, if that's not saying nothing, I mean, he's not rolling in the dough or anything like that. And I am still the baby making decision at this point where unless they got some finances coming in that I don't know about, I'm not really sure about the timing. So anyway, yeah, so they made up. So now Cameron and Eris. So he's still asleep, basically. It's time for her to go back to Florida. And, she's getting ready to leave. And, he just rolls over. She's like, I got to go. I'm leaving. And he just rolls over. And he's on the couch because, he couldn't sleep with her because she kicked him out. And so finally he wakes up and, he doesn't remember much. And then, she's already out in the lobby and it looks like she's going to leave without him. But, of course she's not going to leave without him, right? So he joins her in the lobby and he's just, we're seeing, Cam gives us these moments of where we kind of, like Cam a little bit, but just because I have those moments with him does not mean that I feel that he is ready to be a step parent. I do not feel that he is ready for marriage. He's just, the arrested development is there. Not as bad as like some of the other people like past seasons, like Harry. Harry was still like Harry and Indy. Remember, he was still like emotionally and like mentally like 17 years old. Cam is still like, maybe mid 20s or something, even though I think he's older than that. Just the way he had his feet all up on the table, in the lobby. Like, I'm sure in his family, he was not raised to put his feet on like a coffee table, in anywhere, like in a public setting or at home or whatever. Then he's sitting there talking about how he doesn't remember and he just had some fun and how, wait, hold on. She should have been there. If she was so worried about his drinking, she should have been there to monitor him. And I mean, she's a mother. She already has a child that she has to worry and look after. Why should she have to look after a grown man? But basically, she doesn't realize it, or maybe she's starting to get the hint now. This is what she signed up for with this guy. He clearly has a problem with his alcohol. Clearly. Oh, my tolerance isn't up because I've been locked away for so long. He thinks it's okay to just black out. He thinks it's okay and it's funny, that he doesn't remember what happened. I just, Eris, so listen, when we say, your picker is off, we can say that for the entire cast, but Eris, kind of hits worse, right? Because she seems so sweet and stuff like that. But something's not, the elevator is not going to the top floor with this woman. What's going on? So, she's confronting him, but, he's just full of it. He's basically doubling down on his decision making. So, now, this is 3 weeks out, all right? We're with Ashley and Travis. So, he's moving to his mom's, and he gets to the house, and the mom is like, she's hugging him and stuff like that, and she's apologetic about, having an argument with him. Or not really, it wasn't even an argument. It was just her stating basically how she felt about them, getting married so soon. She was against it, right? So, she goes over to hug Ashley, and Ashley like dodges the hug. She's just so like, putting her hair behind her ears and getting stuff, and it's like, how rude are you? This woman is opening up her home to you. I mean, I know you don't want to be there, but you're there because of your own doing. So, I mean, I'm not blaming the pandemic on her, but she could have planned her finances a little bit better than that. Spending all this money, all this, especially on all the alcohol. Alcohol is expensive, and that woman has an alcohol habit. Okay, I'm not gonna call her an alcoholic, but we'll just say she definitely has a habit of a lot of drinking, and that costs money. So, I don't know if she's like drinking, the cheap stuff, the Mad Dog 4040 or 2020, whatever that stuff was. I remember from the 90s. I was the old ghetto liquor. All right, so let's see. All right, she moved in. Yeah, all right. Let's go to the next page here. Because listen, I have to do notes here, people. I can't do all this off the dome. I just, I'm too old for that. Brain's not that fresh. So Derek and Monique. Now, Derek and Monique. Now, this is something I wasn't paying attention to as much in the previous episodes, but I made a note of it this time. Okay, so Derek has been out for 6 days. I did not realize that he has only been out for like just such a short period of time. So all these episodes, literally, it's been like, an episode and a half, per, I don't know, every 20, 15 hours or something. And like, he just got out. So he calls his brother, and his brother, they're talking, and they're talking about meeting up at the park, and they want to get together and everything like that. And his brother's reluctant about it, but that's what they plan. So Nathan and Skylar, they're out at this like pumpkin patch, and they're picking pumpkins, and he's ready to propose to her. And I mean, apparently, I guess they haven't gotten to a fight in, I don't know, 3 hours. So maybe it's almost time for him to like get on one bended knee or something like that. But he's going to introduce her to his brother. And his brother has a past and was in jail, right? Wasn't he in jail? I think he was in jail. Didn't they? Okay, let me take that back, because I don't remember exactly. I didn't write that down. So let me not say that he was in jail. But he has some trouble. That much I remember. And she was afraid of him hanging out with his brother, because then, maybe he's going to, backslide into his old ways. So Justine and Mike, the whole family, they go out for ice cream. So it's, all, I say the whole family, meaning Justine, Mike, Justine's kids, and Justine's mother. So all of Mike's kids are with, their sides of the family. So they sit down, and, they make sure they get the extra maraschino cherries and the chocolate and whatever. And then they decide to get one extra, serving of ice cream. And they're like, now this is going to be for the baby. And you see the kids' face, and they're like, only Santana, which I believe is her middle child, the little boy with the short curly hair, he was like, oh, he seemed to be a little bit more into it. But the eldest and the youngest were just looking at her. But then the youngest is like, oh, I want to name him Chad or whatever, which was kind of cute. But the oldest, oh my God, this scene broke my heart, because they just didn't, she just didn't look that happy, right? She's the oldest, and she's had access to her mom all this time. So now Monique and Derek, they're out at the park, and they're setting up for this little picnic or whatever. And his family gets there, his dad's family. So his big mama, his dad, and his aunt, who Monique meets for the first time. And once again, yet another paternal family member of his that is opening up and embracing her quite warmly. So, he's, well, you can tell he's been locked up a long time, because when he was trying to grill that meat, honey, did you see him? He threw that meat up on top of the grill, threw those charcoal biscuits in there, and squirted that lighter fluid, and like, that was it. I said, oh my God, I wonder what that's going to taste like. But, anyway, they're sitting out there, and they're waiting for his sisters. They're supposed to come. So they never show up. And Grandma's like, you know what? Look, I'm old, and I got to go. So the family starts packing up, and they're disappointed. And as they're packing up, well, Dad's family is left, but as they're packing up, and they're like backing out of the parking lot, who comes? None other than Elizabeth and the crew, right? In the white van or white car, whatever it was. And, Elizabeth is being all silly and stuff like that, but, it just, she's knocking on the car, and I'm like, you gotta stop this, because you never know, like, if somebody sees that and somebody calls the cops, and now all of a sudden it's a situation, and then he can get in trouble. They have to be very careful. Now, I don't know during filming if they've, made it clear, like, okay, you guys are going to act this out and make it seem a little bit crazier, because Monique did not seem to be like entertained by that whatsoever. She was like looking at, she's sitting in the car behind the driver's seat, like, Are you serious? Oh, really? It's about to go down, right? So now we're back to Travis and Ashley. So, okay, here we go. So we got, this is the clear blue gate, basically. She's like, because her eyes are always like this, and not because her eyes are small, but because she's always fucked up, right? She's like, I think I'm pregnant. And I'm like, after all that drinking, if you are, God only help that. Anyway, so she, she's talking to Travis, and Travis is looking like he is ready to shite a brick, right? Like, oh my God, I just got out. Now you tell me, we don't have any place to live. Now we gotta live with my mother. You're out of money. You told me you're gonna train me in a career. Now you're gonna tell me that we have a baby. But it's like, listen, Travis, I don't know what you were thinking when you were, doing the do. I mean, it takes two, right? So you weren't practicing any birth control. If that were the case, I don't know. Or maybe was it an accident, a slip up? Anyway, yeah, so she takes the test. So Justine and Michael, well, her oldest daughter is upset, right? Because we're back at the ice cream parlor. So her oldest daughter is upset and she starts crying. And this was like, oh my God, this kind of hurt my heart. Because Justine is like, she feels like overwhelmed by all the different changes that are going on, and it's a lot. It's just been her and her mom and her siblings all this time, and she starts talking about like you know what did she say? She said like, I wanted to have okay, with this new baby, I'll be able to do things with the new baby that I wasn't able to do with my eldest child because she was so young or whatever. And it's like, that's when the little girl like really started to react. And it's like, you don't say that in front of your kid. And I do not doubt Justine's love for her children, not for 1 second. But I think that, that was a conversation maybe she could have just had with Michael, and just say to the kids, hey, we're having a new baby. I know you're not, this is unexpected. There are going to be some changes, but in that moment, her daughter was feeling replaced, right? Or at least that's how she came across, like she was feeling like she was going to lose her mom. So, Justine's trying to console her and let her know, no, that's not the case. I'll always love you. And I do believe when Justine says, hey, you're my firstborn child, I love you in a different way than I love my other kids. Sometimes, and I'm not speaking for Justine, I have no idea, but, sometimes people, parents do have their favorites. And sometimes, that first child is like, there's nothing, because there's just, when you have the rest of your kids, it's like, okay, now you kind of know what to do. It's not the unexpected and stuff with that first kid. Sometimes you're stricter, sometimes you're more like, it's the first child. And I do believe that there's a very special relationship between them. The way that the way that it was worded, I think was a poor choice of words to me. So Cameron and Chris, she's on her way to the airport, and or no, sorry, not Cameron and Chris. What I'm talking about, Cameron and Eris. So they're on the way to the airport, and he is about to be free for 60 days. 60 days. This is the person that could not even stay sober long enough to pass his breathalyzer when he was in the halfway house. This is the person that couldn't even go to one family function knowing that he had already gotten in trouble related to his alcohol after obtaining his newly found freedom. Has got completely wasted to the point where he can't even properly send off his wife the next day. And you mean to tell me he's going to be free for 60 days? She is going to be, it's going to be another Monique situation, right? Where she's constantly checking up on him and constantly worrying. She has her daughter to worry about. She shouldn't have to be chasing after this girl, man. I don't know what she was thinking when she decided to marry him. So Monique and Derek. So he, all right. So now this is where we're about to get into it. So he insists that she drives off. And she's driving, and then the producer gets on the line, and the producer wants to meet up with them. But at so and so park or whatever. But Derek starts yelling at her. He's like, "No, keep driving, keep driving." Anytime they're in some kind of like, either a high speed chase or pursuit, something's going on with the car. Then she always wants to pull over, and he's always like, "Keep going, I'll drive." Now, if he wasn't driving to begin with, does he not have his driver's like what's going on? Why is she always driving? Now, is it a function of it's more now, because I know this from traveling myself. Sometimes my husband and I will only put one driver on the rental car application because you have to pay for the additional driver. You know, it's an insurance thing, right? So that can be an extra. It can be up to like $100 a day per additional driver. So I think maybe they're trying to save money because I know he knows how to drive. I just feel like he knows how to drive, but why wouldn't he have his license yet? But then again, I don't know. Wait a minute, hold on. This is only day 6 out of prison. I keep forgetting that. So it's very possible that he doesn't have his driver's license quite yet. But why wouldn't you do that the first day? She took him to the bank to get his bank account and stuff. Why didn't he get his driver's license? So anyway, so and another thing is, I was reading somewhere that she said that she had gotten her driver's license for him, so she's not normally a driver. Is that true? Do you guys know anything about that? And I mean, it's perfectly possible because she's from Chicago. Like, I'm a New Yorker. Most of the people that I know do not drive, do not own driver's licenses, and have never driven that are from there. It's just, that kind of city where you have a good transit system. So anyway, so then they get into an argument or whatever. Oh, but wait, hold on. Wait a minute, let me back up. So Elizabeth, okay, we have to give her Oscar, right? So she lays down on the ground and pretends that she's been she's been hit, she's been run over, something like that. They're just kidding around. She's being goofy. But the part that I didn't like when she's banging on Monique's car as Monique is taking off, right? She's banging on the car, and that's getting Monique upset. And listen, when a person is about to start driving, you don't want them driving erratically or being upset. You want them to be calm. So anyway, yeah. So the producer is like, pull over, and Derek's like, I'm not pulling, don't pull over, don't pull over. Next thing you know, he's calling her bitch, and she's like, and so are you, and you can, and she's like, I'll drag you out of this car, and I'll f you up and all of this stuff. And it just kind of the whole thing went left. And I think it's because he's so stressed about his sisters always causing a scene, and she's so stressed because they're always causing a scene, right? And instead of dealing with their own issues together, they're dealing with or they're having to deal with this outside force. But I mean, he's no saint anyway, so I don't really give a shit about Derek, to be totally honest. And it's just, she's like, oh, I'm gonna fight and stuff like that. So anyway, they decide later on, okay, that they're gonna he's gonna get out of the car. So we'll get back to that later. So now Travis and Ashley, she realizes that she's not pregnant. The results are negative, and they're both relieved, right? But it's just like, I don't know. I feel like Travis is like just doubting the relationship now, basically, that the money is dried up. Let's be honest. Right? Because basically, if he's got that nice house, what does he need her for? If his mom is ready to take care of him like that, she clearly wants him, under her wing. Why does he need Ashley? I mean, unless it's just love, I don't know. So Justine and Michael, so he FaceTimes his mom. Oh my God. So this was really funny. So he tells his mom, like, okay, all right, Mom, I got something to tell you, and he has her on a FaceTime with Justine, like sitting right beside him. And Justine, she's already a little salty because of what happened at the picnic or whatever. So she feels a little bit like, and neither one of them is thrilled to tell their parents because, their parents have been down this road with them before. So then he tells her, he said, Justine and I are having a baby. And the mama's like, no, you're playing. No, you're playing. Are you serious? And he's like, yeah. And then she was like, Michael, ¿puedo hablarte contigo un momentito? Por favor, tengo que hablarte. And then all of a sudden, it was like the kid version of him clicked in. He's like, she doesn't speak Spanish. That's very rude. That's very disrespectful. You always doing stuff like that. You know she don't speak no Spanish. Like, and it was like so funny. And then the mom's like trying to like figure out how she wants to say this. And then she goes, Michael, you need to do a DNA test. You need to do a paternity test. And he was like, Mike, it was so funny. And it was like, and Michael was like, a DNA test? Like, why you gotta be disrespecting me? This ain't no Maury Popovich show. I said, oh shit. I said, well, hey, listen, Maury Popovich says you are the father, okay? That was so funny, Maury Popovich. Oh man, there's some good lines on this one. Just like Cam, there was a good line. Oh, Cam had said something about like when he was all drunk and laying out like, it's been a long day for a short kid. So stupid, right? So anyway, his mom is like, you got to make sure that this is the case. She's like, it's been so soon. So, she's saying like, this has only been a couple of weeks. And I'm like, I'm looking at the timing and I'm like, gosh, a couple of weeks? That is soon. But, it's not like it can't happen. I mean, if she was ovulating when, as soon as he got out, I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, she definitely could have gotten pregnant right away. But I mean, how many weeks exactly? Let me go back in my notes because I just don't remember how long he's actually been out of prison. I don't think I wrote it down. I don't know how long he's been out of prison, but either way, she got pregnant pretty quickly. So, I mean, it does take a little time for, the hormones to be present in the urine to be able to verify pregnancy. But I mean, yeah, well, she's obviously pregnant. So, I mean, there's no doubt that she's pregnant, but it's just like that was soon. And I do not believe for a second that it is anyone's baby other than Michael. She is so devoted to that man. Come on. I don't see her with anybody else. And what the mom said was rude and it was very disrespectful. And I understand that is something that she wanted to talk to with, only Michael and only Michael. And another thing is, does the mom know something that we don't know? Because remember, they were friends. So, but then again, if they were friends, why, if Justine was messing around on him, why would she tell the mom? I think the mom was being definitely a little bit rude in this situation. And it's clear that the friendship is gone between those two, even though she initially introduced them. So I just think the mom didn't think that, they were going to wind up really like getting married and all that stuff. What was the mom thinking when she introduced them? I mean, there's always the possibility, right? Two lonely people. I mean, and now, they're together and they're procreating. So I think it was wrong. I think if she wanted to have that conversation with Michael based off of her experience because her brother had a child, her brother, had her brother's son, come to find out, actually wasn't really the biological son and infected the family. So now she's always skeptical about, is so-and-so the real father in different situations in the family. So, I understand her fear, but I mean, he's a grown man and your son likes to make children. So he is father of the New England area and he's got another one on the way. She should have just kept that like between them. Yeah, I'm not saying she shouldn't have said anything whatsoever, but you don't do it in front of the one, she's pregnant. She's standing right there. I thought that was kind of rude. So, okay, let's see what's next. All right, who do we get to? Mike, all right, Travis, FaceTime, Monique. All right, okay, so Monique, all right. Now it's going down. So Monique has, decided she's just going to leave. So she's still in her car. Derek has left the car. I guess, I don't know, maybe production is going to give him a ride home or something. So it's time for Monique to go back to Chi-Town. So we see her house and she's at her vanity. She's getting ready. And, I gotta give it to her. Monique, except that one episode, with the exception of one episode where the glue was coming up, it didn't look very nice. For the most part, her wigs look very good. I mean, they are like tacked down good. The part looks good, has a very natural look to it. She's just, putting her mousse in her wigs and in her wig and stuff like that. And, she's doing all that, right? Hold on. Let me pretend I'm putting some mousse in my hair and I'm checking my phone. Hold on. Where's he at? Where's he at? Do I look good? Okay. A little extra curl over here. Oh, it says he's where? Oh, the south side of town. So she is keeping tabs on him. So she reveals to us, all right, that they haven't spoken in 3 days. And that a woman has contacted her via her social media page and let her know that they have been in a relationship and that, apparently he hasn't been telling her the truth. Now, I will give Monique just the most minuscule amount of credit in this situation where most women we see on these shows act like complete idiots and just start blaming the other woman, right? Calling her all kinds of B's and stuff like that. She didn't do that. Thank God. At least 1 point for that. And she starts showing us videos that the woman took of him. Now, is this the correctional officer? I'm going to assume so because they blurred out the voice. So, and is she still a correctional? So if this woman that we saw in the video is the correction officer, I still have a question. Is the correction officer that he was talking to still a correctional officer, or is she a former correctional officer? Because all the dots would line up if this was the correctional officer, because she's still on duty and she wouldn't want to have her voice on TV. I don't know yet. But anyway, whoever it was, we saw in the picture, she's holding Derek's hand like this and everything. And, the proof was right there. Monique was like, oh, so now, I'm basically, the ball's in my court. If he comes back to me, then I'm going to decide if I decide to take him back or not. Now, only because they've been spoiling with us with all of these upcoming scenes of Life After Lockup, which will be starting next week, which we will be reviewing, absolutely. And we know that they will be on there. So obviously, if they did break up, it wasn't for too long. So we'll find out later on what happened with this woman. But she then decides to call him. She FaceTimes him. Well, first of all, she checks his location, okay? And I don't know how she got that back going, because I thought the brother deactivated that, but apparently she must have got her hands back on that phone. It's like, oh, he doesn't know that I turned this back on. So she's checking, you can see the Doppler screen, like what part of town he's in, and he's having dinner apparently with his friend and his friend's girlfriend. And she's like, oh, so you mean to tell me you having dinner with your boy and his HOE? And I'm like, or actually, I don't know, HOE, whatever. And I'm like, why does she got to be all that? Just because Derek is there, it's not her fault. You don't have to like slut shame her. Because I don't like that. I don't like when people use that word. But anyway, and he's swearing up and down, and she's like, give me a 360 aerial view. I want to see everybody. I want to see all the plates, the forks, the napkins. I want to see everything. I was like, oh my, Monique, this is, girl, you got your proof. It couldn't be any clearer. But you know what? Hey, listen, I don't think they're only together strictly for the paycheck of it all. I think she really does still feel like, maybe she just feels like, she can't get any better. Because at the end of the day, we would not have this show if it weren't for low self-esteem. And we've all had it at some point. Low self-esteem at the right place, at the right time, with the right person, you could really mess up your life and have some permanent, permanent regrets in your life. And thank God she doesn't have any children or anything like that. But I just don't, I don't know. Like, why would you give him another chance? Why would you be with someone that you have to constantly monitor? If you like the prison system so much, why don't you just become a correctional officer yourself? You know what I mean? She's on her weight loss journey. She could do that job. She apparently enjoys commandeering someone's life. Derek is trash. He's trash. You deserve better than him. So I just thought to myself, all right, that's it. The interrogation during the dinner party was too much for me. I've seen enough. All right. So, basically, that was the end of the season. So we got our updates on everybody. So, Nathan and Skylar apparently are still together. However, he hasn't proposed yet. Just waiting for that right moment. They never stop arguing long enough to, even have like a romantic time for a proposal. It's just ridiculous. Those two, why are those two still together? But thank God we're not going to see them next season because I don't want to see Nathan and Skylar anymore. They just kind of put me to sleep. So who else? Aris and Cameron. Well, they're still maintaining their marriage while he is, they're in Ohio and she's in Florida and he's drinking his ass off sometimes. And who else do we have? Oh, Michael and Justine. Of course, still together. She's expecting her baby. I believe her baby is due in July, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and she's still pregnant. They're still doing like their little club events and things like that. He's still trying to make his music and sneakers. um who else did I miss? I missed okay, obviously Monique and Derek are still together because they're going to be on next season. um let's see. And then the last couple would be Travis and Ashley. And Travis and Ashley, well, apparently living under Travis's mother's roof became a little bit too much for our dearest Ashley, aka I cannot drink all goddamn day like I want to, and whatever else the hell she's doing. Because I mean, all the time. What is that, right? So they broke up. She moved out and she's back on her own. Now she's probably back off with that little drinking buddy of hers with that cyst in his cheek, right? Remember that guy? So I want to know, like, I would like to see a little bit more of an update on Ashley. Now I don't need to see her for a full season, but what's going on with her? Where is she? What's she doing now? Like, is she done with the prison scene? It says she's trying to get her jewelry business back going or whatever, but she needs a full-time job. Girl, listen. Sometimes you gotta swallow your pride, still do your jewelry on the side until it gets back to where you need it to be. But I mean, who's she living with right now? But yeah, I wanted a few more details about what happened. But it makes sense though, because Travis is probably like, you know what? Listen, I don't need the drama. I don't need the headache. I don't need all this drinking. You always being drunk, and now you're trying to tell me you're pregnant, and we're living under my mama's roof. My mama can take care of me, so why do I need you? And Manassas, I mean, it's I've never been to his part of town, but I know it's a nicer part of Virginia. It's fine. He doesn't, I mean, come on, please, he's good without her. So that dysfunctional couple has disbanded, but it seems like all of the rest of them have still remained together. I definitely do want some updates on Cameron and Eris because I don't know. I mean, do you even think he's going to make it to Florida? I mean, he married her. I don't understand. This is what I don't understand. If he has 60 days before he can actually physically go down there, what is the point in getting married so fast then? I thought the point of them getting married was so he could go with her right away. Right? So and I know that they didn't know in the beginning when they went to like the parole board and stuff like that, or not parole board, but like this parole officer to discuss the terms of like where he can and cannot be geographically. They still said, they didn't give him a definitive answer yet, like how long he has to stay, he has to remain in Ohio. But so why not get married after you find out how long that's going to be? Because if you're just going to, for another 60 days, why not just do like a back and forth thing? And then that way she can really get a better chance to see what he's like on the outside world. I mean, these people have been out for weeks. I mean, this is like, I just didn't realize. Oh, sometimes my sweater gets a little itchy. I made the sweater, you guys. I like to knit. That's one of my little hobbies. And I have videos about knitting as well if you want to check those out in my playlist. But yeah, sometimes I get a little itchy with my sweaters. I picked an inexpensive Peruvian wool. Anyway, yeah, so that's it. So are you guys going to be watching next week for Life After Lockup? I am here for it because Derek and Monique, I'm sorry, they are just good TV. I cannot help it. I want to see what this, what comes of this, and I want to see if he actually goes to Chicago. Remember, because he was telling because his dad was like, "Why don't you just go to Chicago, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, we'll see about that." But he's got his little boo things already in Cleveland, so I want to find out all about this. But anyway, It was a good episode. I mean, thank you so much for tuning in, for joining, and spending your Saturday morning with me. Thank you, everybody who's subscribed. And like I noticed my subscribers, I look at my different analytics, and I see you guys are watching the video. So thank you so much for joining me, and thank you to all the new subscribers as well. I hope you're being safe and taking care of yourself, and I will see you next week. Che pisalacho. Oh, by the way, I'll see you on Monday for 90 Day Fiance the other way. I'll see you on Thursday for Married at First Sight. And then I'll see you again on Saturday for our Life After Lockup. Okay? Chippy selection.